Okay, so we're going to use our lasso tools now. So File and Open. And I have downloaded an image of 2 kiwis that I got from Pexels. You can use any images that you wish. Probably need something with a fairly definitive edge, just to make your life a little bit more easy. So our lasso tools are in the third box down. You right click and you see the options that are available to you. So for this moment, we're going to concentrate on the lasso and the polygonal lasso. Okay, so we'll start with lasso. You need a fairly steady hand for this, but don't worry if you know, you can make mistakes and adjust it afterwards. So I'm going to make sure that I'm on new selection up here. Okay, and you might, especially with something like this where there's kind of a hairiness, you might want to have a little bit of a feather. Okay, so I'm going to go new selection. I'm on my lasso and I'm literally going to start dragging around the kiwi. Okay, now as you can see, I'm not, apologies, I'm not being very particular about this, but I will fix it. Okay, and when I get back to the start, I just release my finger. Okay, and then I want to add to the selection in parts. So add to selection, I'm going to this icon right up here. Okay, probably added a bit too much there, but anyway, oopsies. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract from selection. So these tools are really handy. So even if you find quick ways of doing this, you'll still always use these tools because these are like the basics of selections. Okay, so I mean, it's not perfect, but yeah, I'm like, this is like something that you would just keep at. Okay, so just once you understand the basis of this is add to selection, this is subtract from selection. I never really used the fourth one, which is intersect with selection, so I think you could ignore that. So when I'm happy with my selection, sorry, just before I do that, there's no point at this stage changing your feather. Your feather needs to be adjusted at the beginning before you start drawing. So if you change your mind on your feather, it's not going to make a difference at this point. So Control J, come on, there we have it. Okay, so there we have it. There's my kiwi on its own. Okay, so now what I can do is I can make maybe a color change to this kiwi. So I can go Image, Adjustments, and for example, Hue and Saturation. Okay, so I might change the hue. I might change the saturation, the lightness, darkness. And when I'm happy, I just press OK. Okay, so best practice, I'm going to double click on this and I'm going to name it. I'm going to call it Kiwi 1 or Kiwi Left or whatever you want to call it. So that's Kiwi 1. So now I want to make a selection on this kiwi. Now, automatically people will start drawing here now. But what we need to bear in mind is that we're on this layer, this Kiwi 1 layer. I'm just going to see, can I make this even bigger just so it's easier to see? Yeah, no, it's as big as it can go. So we got to be down on this layer because otherwise Photoshop has nothing to select if I'm on the top layer. So I'm going to use a different tool this time. I'm going to use the Polygonal Lasso tool. Okay, so this time it's click, click, click. So with the lasso, I was dragging. This one, I'm click, 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 click. Okay. Now, obviously, with kind of the hairiness of this, it's going to be a bit of a funny selection. But look at it, it's just an interesting way of working. Okay. So it's more of a sharper selection, depending on how far away or how close your points are. Again, I can add to selection, for example, if I want. Okay, so you kind of have to come inside. So start inside, up. Okay. It doesn't really like for me to do Actually, no, it does. That's okay. Ignore what I just said there. And then if I want to subtract from selection, for example, if it's selected a bit too much of something, I just go to subtract from selection. So again, Control J, and I'm going to call this one Kiwi 2. Okay. And if I turn off the visibility, I can see I have those two kiwis selected. So again, I could change the coloring on this one. Image, adjustments, hue and saturation. And for example, there we have it. Okay. Now let's just say I wanted to change the background in here. Okay. I'm just going to open up my browser. Okay. And I'm going to put in pixels. Okay. And I'm just going to put in background. Or I could put tabletop or something. Okay, so obviously I don't have one saved at the moment. So I'm just going to use this one and I'm going to download. So it's going into my downloads folder. Okay. So what I do now is I go File, Place Embedded. File, Place Embedded, and I select that image that I just downloaded. Okay. Now, I suppose we need to note the location in terms of the hierarchy of my picture. So I'm going to make this, resize it. Okay. Okay. And when I'm happy, I press done. And then I just got to change the order of that layer. Okay. Probably not a great background I selected, but it's more about. So what that means now is I can move these around. I can make copies if I hold Alt, for example. I can rotate them. Press rotate. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Okay. There we have it.